In today's video, we're going to be talking about the downswing movement, how to sequence our downswing correctly. I'm going to break it down for you and talk about how we shift our pressure and start our downswing sequence correctly. Make sure you check this video out. Welcome back to the TruGolf Academy. You've joined me, Jon Watts, today at BRANSTON Golf and Country Club. Today's video, as I mentioned there in the intro, is all about the downswing movement. How do we start our downswing correctly? It's a question I get asked a lot. Now, there can be a number of different answers, and depending on what coach you go to see, but we all would agree that our pressure should be moving towards our lead side, so our side that is closest to the target. In the transition movement from top of the backswing to start the downswing, the pressure should be moving back. We would all agree that we would want to start ground up. So from our feet, our knees, our hips, before we work into our torso and our shoulders, we wouldn't throw a golf ball from this movement with our arm first. It'd be the lower body movement. There'd be a shift of pressure, and we'd start to see the knees and the hips starting to work, starting to rotate. But there could be a number of thoughts that would work better for you. And that will vary golfer to golfer. But I would say if you go ahead and do a couple of these drills that I'm going to show you and suggest today, it's really going to help you give that sensation that you're looking for. So we see with the majority of elite golfers, by the time they get to left arm parallel to the ground, 3/4 the way back, most elite golfers are around 80% loaded in terms of pressure into their trail thigh. So the thigh that's furthest, I'll put my teeth back in, away from the target. As they complete their backswing, we're starting to already see a shift of pressure towards our lead side, and we want it to happen quite gradually. The first movement won't be that gradual. It'll be about 80% over here, starting to move to 60% lead foot, 70, 80, 90. We really want to reach maximum at the time we get to the golf ball. And a great drill for you that's jumped straight into one would just be using, if you're off turf, another golf ball. If you're on the range, I'd get a tennis ball and just cut it in half, saw it in half, and place that underneath your lead foot. Because I'm off turf here, I can go ahead and put a ball down into the ground, and it's soft enough that my lead heel is just going to stand on the ball and squash it down into the ground. So I'm standing on that ball, and what I want to feel is as I get towards 3/4 the way back, I don't feel a lot of pressure onto this lead foot. Now we could, and may even be a player where we allow that lead heel to rise a little bit in the backswing. I'm not, but I don't feel a lot of pressure applied into that lead foot as I'm 3/4 the way back. But as I finish the backswing and start the downswing, I want to really feel like I'm starting to push down. Now that worries a lot of golfers because they say, well, I'm then losing a bit of height and sinking. And it's like anything, actually. We can generate a lot of speed from there. We push down before we spring up. And it's a subconscious spring up. I'm not suggesting anyone's really thinking about it, but if we push down, there is that equal opposite reaction or force that's going to push us to help us push back off. So we're pushing a little bit down in towards our lead foot. As our body comes into impact and is starting to rotate, our lead side is extending, and that part will happen naturally. It really will. So I want you to feel like you're pushing down into that lead foot in the transition movement to start a downswing. Okay, so I don't feel a lot of pressure under that ball at 3/4 the way back. As I complete the backswing and start the downswing, I can definitely now feel force pressure being applied here. And I really want to almost reach maximum impact and feel like I'm pushing that ball down into the ground. So that's a good drill and a great sensation for you. So that's to do with where the pressure is. If you preferred focusing on a body movement, this is just another idea for you. If you just simply go ahead and pop a tour stick through your belt loops, what I would like to see is a backswing position, okay, where I've created a good 90-odd shoulder turn. My hips have maybe turned 45, depending on level of flexibility. But what you'll also see as I make that backswing movement is that my trail hip has moved upwards. My lead hip will move a little bit downwards, the same as my shoulders. So If my lead shoulder moves down and in front of me, my trail shoulder will move up and behind me. The same thing happens with the hips. So how do we want to start our downswing? Well, we want to start ground up and we want to do it in the opposite fashion. So we actually want our hips to move down, okay, and recenter. We want our trail hip to move down and in front of us, and that really levels my hips. So on the backswing, okay, the tilt in my hips, my lead hip has gone a little bit down, my trail hip's gone a little bit up, the same way as my shoulders have happened that way, okay? It was not a simple turn this way, level, because we'd need the ball to be up in the air. Because the ball is down on the ground, that movement happens, okay? That trail hip is moving up and behind you. So on the start of the downswing, we want that trail hip to move down and a bit more in front of you. And you can see that re-levels the hips. I often refer to that as centering the hips, okay? So centering the hips, and I will put some ideas to some other videos up here that's well worth checking out about centering the hips, is a great sensation for others. I'm going to give you a third way to think about this, the same ideas, but it's finding what works for you. So some golfers, rather than focusing on shifting the pressure towards their lead foot, which was number one, that don't perhaps like focusing on the hips, recentering, would like to focus perhaps more on the lead knee. So as you make a backswing, the lead knee will kick in a little bit. It will do, okay? So you are not going to keep the same width between the knees. The lead knee will kick in a little bit. The trail knee will lose a little bit of flex. I don't want to see too much, but there will happen a touch. So as we start the downswing, what we want to try and do is get our lead knee back over the center of our toe. So my lead knee's kicked in. I don't need this through my belt loops, but my lead knee is now going to move back over my toe. Guess what? That shifts the pressure into my lead foot, recenters the hips. I'm not suggesting you're thinking of all three of these. These are three ways to start your downswing, or think about starting your downswing. Do them in practice, find out what is the good feel for you, what creates the correct downswing sequence. Once you've repeated that enough at home exercises or on the range, you'll be able to take it to the golf course, okay? So whether it is the feeling of pushing down with that pressure into that lead foot, whether it is the case of recentering the hips at the start of the downswing, so almost undoing what we've done on the backswing, or whether it is the feeling that the lead knee moves back over the toe, I will leave to you. I don't mind which one you use. They're all going to have the same effect and all going to create this downswing sequence that we really want to see. So I'm just going to get that sensation that I'm pushing down into my lead foot. I don't feel much pressure there at the top of the backswing, but I want to feel like I can create some force. There's no reason why I can't do some with the ball underneath my foot and actually hit some shots on the range doing that. Let me see if I just go ahead and focus on that downswing sequence. Well, if I can hit them all like that, I'll give up coaching, get on tour. We're in the middle of the green there, happy with the contact. The only problem was I was hitting a 5-iron, whereas the tour boys are probably hitting 7-iron, 8-iron from here. So maybe I'll give up for a few more years. Great contact, exactly what I wanted to see. Really got that sensation of starting my downswing by applying pressure towards my lead foot, and it gave me that ball turf contact I was looking for. If this video has helped you, make sure you hit the thumbs up and do subscribe to my channel to show your support for the TruGolf Academy. If you hit the little bell icon, it just means you get notified every time a new video goes live, at least a video every Tuesday and Thursday, but some Saturday specials through the season as well. Cheers guys, we'll see you soon.